49ers blowout loss to Green Bay signals the end of their 2024 season. For the hopeful and ever-optimistic San Francisco 49ers fans, the dream of a late-season playoff push isn't entirely dead yet. Sure, there's still a chance they could battle through the tight NFC West race and somehow squeeze into the postseason. They'll hold on to the hope that Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa, and Trent Williams all return to full health and somehow lead the team to a miraculous turnaround against teams like the Buffalo Bills. But deep down, they can't ignore how eerily similar this season is to 2020, a year that began with such promise, only to spiral into disappointment. And with the loss to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday, it feels like history is repeating itself. The 2020 season was a disaster for the 49ers. After a Super Bowl loss the year prior, injuries derailed their season, leaving them with a dismal 6-10 record. Going into December that year, the team was 5-6, and their next matchup was against the Bills. That game ended in a crushing 34-24 loss, which all but ended their playoff hopes. Fast forward to 2024, and the same sense of doom is settling in. The 49ers are once again 5-6 after a 38-10 blowout loss to the Packers. And it's hard to deny the growing sense that this season might be over too. A dominant Packers performance exposes 49ers' weaknesses. Sunday's loss to Green Bay wasn't just a wake-up call, it was a nail in the coffin for a 49ers team that looks like a shadow of its former self. Kyle Shanahan, always a master strategist, could do little to mask the issues his team faced. The 49ers couldn't establish the run. They couldn't make any explosive plays in the passing game. And Josh Jacobs of the Packers had his way with the defense right from the start. By the time the first half ended, San Francisco was already down by 2 touchdowns. With 9 penalties, several coming in crucial moments, the team seemed off in every possible way. The Packers dominated the clock. And as Shanahan admitted after the game, their run defense was a real disappointment. Shanahan didn't hold back, calling the team's performance embarrassing. And it was hard to argue with him. Whether it was the offense or the defense, nothing seemed to go right. And the 49ers' Super Bowl aspirations were slipping away fast. The downfall of the 49ers, missing key pieces. For all the disappointment, the absence of key players is impossible to ignore. Brock Purdy, the quarterback who led them to success last season, had been struggling with consistency. His shoulder injury in the loss to Green Bay only raised further doubts about his ability to lead the team. Without him, the offense looked lifeless, and the quarterback position became a glaring weakness. But it's not just about Purdy. The defensive line was a shadow of its former self without Nick Bosa, and the offense looked rudderless without Trent Williams protecting the quarterback's blind side. When these 3 players, arguably the core of the team, are missing or not at full strength, the 49ers are simply not the same team. It's clear now, when they're healthy, they're a contender. When they're not, they're a sinking ship. But it wasn't just the injuries to these 3 key players. The 49ers were also missing Jordan Elliott and Aaron Banks, both of whom left the game with concussions. These injuries are piling up, and the team's depth is starting to show its cracks. The road ahead, is there time for a playoff push? The math might still technically be on their side for now. But the 49ers' remaining schedule is nothing short of brutal. They'll face the Buffalo Bills next week in what will likely be the most important game of the season. The Bills are coming off a bye week and are on a mission to secure the top playoff seed in the AFC. After that, the 49ers face the Chicago Bears, Los Angeles Rams, Miami Dolphins, Detroit Lions, and finally, the Arizona Cardinals. Every one of these teams presents a tough challenge, and it's hard to imagine the 49ers winning enough games to sneak into the postseason. Simply put, the 49ers' 2024 season is on life support. And Sunday's loss to Green Bay might have been the moment that sealed their fate. The team still has a chance to pull off a miraculous turnaround. But it's becoming increasingly clear that their season is winding down. If the 49ers were hoping for a late-season surge, that dream may have already died with their loss to Green Bay. It's not just about the record now, it's about the mindset, the health of the key players, and the mounting pressure to win every single game moving forward. A harsh reality, the end of the line for 49ers. The sad truth is that, after the Packers' defeat, the 49ers are teetering on the edge of a lost season. It's clear that this isn't the same team that made it to the Super Bowl just a year ago. With injuries, inconsistencies, and a difficult schedule ahead, the 49ers are running out of time to turn things around. They've been here before. In 2020, they were 5-6 going into December and watched their Super Bowl aspirations slip away in a single, devastating loss to the Bills. Now, With a similar record and an even more difficult road ahead, the question remains, will the 49ers have what it takes to bounce back? Or will history repeat itself once again? In the coming weeks, we'll find out whether this is the start of another failed season or if the 49ers can somehow defy the odds and mount a playoff push. But for now, it's safe to say that the 2024 season is hanging by a thread. And after the Packers' loss, the future of the 49ers feels as uncertain as ever.